Assalamualaikum and hi. Today, me and my teammate are going to present about desensitization of sinful acts in modern media. Next. So first of all, if we want to talk about desensitization in modern media, we have to know about the meaning. Desensitization in our context means a process that diminishes emotional responses to a negative, aversiveness, or positive stimulus after repeated exposure to it. Next. So, what is the actual problem? The problem is that modern media normalizes a lot of sinful act, which makes Muslim not to be afraid to perform this sinful act. Next. So here's some example of sinful act in modern media. One we can see in genre romance is couple, physical contact, and premarital sex. And if it's in action movie, it's smoking, vandalism, and violence. Next. So let's head to the root cause. So what is the root cause? Is actually one man-made law. We follow man-made law. And the second one is human and money as a new god. The third one is that we are not establishing the deen. And lastly, because of sinful act allowed by secular law.
Alright, so now let's go to method and planning. So we choose to do survey, and first we choose who the target respondents are, and then we choose where the survey platform is. We choose Google Form because it is easy to access by a lot of people. And then next we come up with questions for the survey, and then out of those questions we choose the most suitable questions for the survey. And after that the survey is created by Sister Ziana. Next. Executing the method. So the target respondents we choose is general public, but we make sure that no UNGS 1301 students will answer it to make sure that the survey will not be biased. And then the method of distribution is through WhatsApp and Telegram because a lot of Malaysians use both of these apps to communicate and to share links and stuff. And then next is the target sample. We choose 40 responses and we managed to get 41 responses. So once we finish with our method, we close the survey and we start analyzing the answers that we get to make a valid conclusion out of it.
Okay, so the next one we'll be discussing about the result from the survey that we distributed to the respondents. And I'm just going to discuss about the important question only. So on the third question from the survey, we asked how did they see the portrayal of the sinful act to the modern media? Is it portrayed as negative or positively? And 17 of them believed that it was portrayed negatively. On the fourth question, we asked, is there actually any sinful act that you actually normalized to? And 30 of them admitted yes. Okay, and on the fifth question, we give a subjective fill in the blank for them to provide them what is the act. Okay, and I have to put it in categories because it was subjective question. The first category is spreading bad influences, and the next way is exposing aura through fashionism. The third one is the most answer that I can collect, which is exposure of dating, sexual interaction, for example, like premarital sex and kissing, as well as accessing pornographic content and other type of action, for example, like LGBT, the normalization of alcohol and drugs consumption. Okay, and then moving on to the sixth question, the next slide. Okay, so this part, we asked to the respondents, do they agree that modern media is actually part of the contributing factors for all the sinful acts to be normalized today? And 36 of them actually agrees. And then on the seventh question, we give a statement. The portrayal of sinful acts by modern media shape our view to worship the act as something superior. And 24 of them actually agree with this statement. And the eighth question, we ask the respondent to give their opinion, what can we do to lessen the normalization of sinful acts to the modern media? And all of the answer that we get is very typical. For example, like equipping oneself with Islamic value, raise awareness, filter information, etc. Okay, on the question 9, we ask, without the invention of modern media, do you think that Islam can go back to its glory days? And 21 of them actually unsure with that statement, and 10 of them disagree. Okay, and then we ask them to give explanation on the next question. Question 10, we ask them to give the explanation why do they think so. And from what I can compile, from the people that answer maybe or no from question 9, it is because the modern media does, even if modern media does not exist, people still commit sinful acts. And then the next one, modern media is needed in spreading awareness and spreading religious teaching. And the last one is, I really like this one, we still have a corrupt leader. And then from the from the people that answer yes, this is their answer. The lesser slander being spread through modern media, it will be easy to spread one view, as well as it is noticeable the distraction that was caused by modern media. So the next one we'll be discussing about the discussion from what we can compare from the result and relate it from what we've learned. Okay, so for the next one, we go into discussion. So the first thing that we can relate with from what we've learned with the result that we can compile is shirk. It was related with shirk because the act was normalized, that the respondents see as normalized, they view it as a positive thing. Okay, for example, like the act that was according to self-interest or self-benefit, for example, like alcohol consumption, LGBT, and not covering one aura through fashionism, and that was under the self-interest. And the next one is according to nafsu, for example, like the most highest the most answer that I can compile, sexual interaction, for example, like premarital sex and kissing, accessing pornographic contents. So that one is according to nafsu. Why is it shirk? It's because in Islamic law already forbidden this kind of act, but the respondent view it as normal, or they see it as superior, as if they are not holding solely on the Islamic law only. So that's why it is considered shirk, because they upholding not only Allah law. Okay, so the next one we'll be discussing further by Brother Akmal.
Thank you, Sham, for the first part of the discussion. Now we're going to the next part of discussion, which is we believe that we're in an illusion, where we're superior than the Jahiliyyah era just because our era is much more modern than their era. But the thing is, we did not realize that our practice is still the same despite the change of time. And you can see that the most common example during that you can see is among Muslims itself, adulteries. It is as if the laws of Allah does not exist and does not apply to them. So it's once again, it's like history repeats itself again. So how can we really say that we are actually better than the Jahiliyyah era when we are just sinning just like them? So as a Muslim, we must think critically and consume carefully what we watch and what we read, and see that the modern media needs to be filtered and be you know aligned with the Islamic view. So through that, only through every effort and dua and tawakkul can we progress from the current Jahiliyyah age into the golden age of Islam, and that is the goal for our currently weakened ummah.
With Islamic law unestablished, Muslims have to follow secular law. However, they still have to follow Islamic law whichever they can under the system. If they can live without riba, they have to abandon it. They also have to always refer to the Quran, Hadith, and scholars. In the Quran, the God's law is written in full, so they have to refer to it. In Hadith, there's detailed explanation for the Quran. And scholars, if they don't understand anything in the Quran or Hadith, they have to refer to them, lest they will get confused and use it for something else. Next, for our solution, we chose the interview approach as it is more interactive to gain the audience direct responses. The interview was to just demonstrate the similarities of the media and into the society, how it paradigms the society from its law code, social structure, and how sinful acts were normalized as they are now today. During the short interview, we asked a few people on Jahiliyyah and their awareness of the issue. It is also more efficient since we can interact with the interviewer synchronously. We can gain their direct response.
So the outcome, the first thing is we are interviewing 5 people, and these 5 people answered 6 questions. And so the first question is, can you briefly tell us what you understand about Jahiliyyah? So the first is, the people of Jahiliyyah knew about the revelation of the Prophet, yet refused to follow it, and nor follow blindly upon their tradition and custom. Wiyah and Amal also have this same opinion and believe that they have a low level of thinking, and we are also believe they act based on desire. So the second question is, do you think that our society nowadays is more civilized than Jahiliyyah phase 2400 plus years ago? I simply say yes, we are, and Rahmat elaborate further that we think we are a little bit better than Jahiliyyah, and and Tira and Noor further elaborate that we are living in modern Jahiliyyah. Islam is widely exposed, but very few of Muslims actually fulfill what Islam demands, and believe that is very, very good opinion to this question. And the next question, the third question is, previously people in the Jahiliyyah period worship idols as their god and gods. But now we may not necessarily do the same, but today we worship money, popularity, the number of likes on social media, and artists such as singers and actors. Are you aware of this situation? So all of them say that yes, I am aware, and they are aware of this. And Tira actually further said, because I am the same. She said that I believe it's based on experience, because a lot of actually are doing this and worshipping other money or popularity, and I think I can relate to this in the money department. So Rahmat believed that because we did not abstain from our nafs, even ustads are involved in their profession of money. And yes, this is quite a very controversial answer, because some ustads does not actually involved in the profession for money, but they have to use money for to further, use further, live for living, and so therefore making it very weird to call them profession for money. But there are some ustad that we have seen just doing things for money. The fourth question is, in your opinion, what is the act that the people in Jahiliyyah 1400 years plus years ago did, which led to them to be labeled as Jahil? So Amanina and Noor believe that they follow everything blindly, and we are said that they will do something despite knowing that is wrong and will lead to negative impact in the future, such as bribery. The fifth question was given a statement in regards to the situation in Jahiliyyah period and today. So the portrayal of sinful acts by modern media shaped our view to worship the acts as something superior. So no, Amalina, and we are believe that we are the current modern era is not different, not so much different from the Jahiliyyah era. Rahmat and Tira believe that we are in Jahiliyyah but a little bit modern. We are in modern Jahiliyyah. And Tira, we are in Amalina believe that agreed that this has brought awareness to them, and while Rahmat and Noor are already aware of the situation. So this is question: do you think the modern media is one of the biggest factor for the acts that happens back in Jahiliyyah? And all of them agree, and all of them say yes. So I'm gonna say it is an influence, especially to the younger generation, as they will grow up not knowing what is right or wrong. I'm gonna believe that Kafirs are polluting the Muslim community to 3F agenda such as food, film, and fashion. In this context, it is through the film overlapping with fashionism through the representation, which eventually will affect the audience akhlaq. And Rahmat believes that the audience are unconscious about it, and the kafir used it to make Muslim neglectful, so it will be easier for them to mislead Muslims. And I think the one of the best reasons probably is to weaken Islam as a whole, as they see Islam as a an enemy.
In conclusion, we can see how desensitization affect us in influencing action and view. So, therefore, we must think before we consume any media, and it will also simultaneously help with our decision making. Thank you. That's all from us.